What's up, Trader's Edge? It's Mark Sebastian, your only option. And today we're talking about how I'm looking to invest in 2025 across the major indexes. So, with that, let's dig in. So I just want to recap what happened real quickly in 2024. NVIDIA obviously led the S&P 500 higher. It basically tripled in 2024. You also had a massive move higher in names like Apple, which was up, by the end of the year about, 25%. You had a nice move in Google year over year. It was up about 50%. Amazon was up almost $100. You look at AVGO, another huge one. It more than doubled in 2025. And this is a big one. Tesla had a great 2024. Doubled. You can look at Meta. Meta almost doubled. So my point is, 2024, the story of 2024 was that the mega caps, and you could look at a name like MGK, which is the 90 biggest stocks in the S&P. The mega caps are what really led us higher. MGK, just the 90 biggest, went from 250 and closed the year at over 350. So just a phenomenal year for the mega caps. So what does that lead to? That leads to a dramatic move higher for a name like the S&P 500 that is cap weighted. So what does cap weighted mean? That means the more valuable your company is, the bigger the piece of the pie of that index you get. Now, things have gotten a little bit out of whack in the S&P. So this is Slick Charts, and it gives us a full breakdown of what is the makeup of the S&P 500. So let's just start with the three biggest stocks in the S&P 500. So we're talking NVIDIA, we're talking Apple, and we're talking Microsoft. NVIDIA and Apple make up 14.5% of the S&P 500. You add in Microsoft, and you're now dealing with 21% of the S&P. 21% in three stocks. Now let's add in Amazon, and you're over 25%. You add in the Alphabet twins, Google and Goog, and you're at 29%. Now remember, we're only at 5 stocks, and we're at 29%. You add in Meta, and we're at almost 32%. And that's now 6 stocks. Throw in Tesla, we're up to 34% among 7 stocks. And then lastly, we'll add in Broadcom. And that's going to get us to 36%. So 8 stocks. This is how you do 8 in arbitrage on the floor, folks. 8 stocks make up 36% of the index. It is extremely heavy at the top. Then you throw in Berkshire Hathaway, which owns a lot of Apple. And, you might be at 36.5%, things like that. So we've got this index that is now extremely heavy weighted. I mean, look at that. And then the NASDAQ, which is also cap weighted, the triple Q, very similar makeup. You have Apple, NVIDIA, and Microsoft collectively making up about 26%. With Amazon, you get to 32. You get to Broadcom, you're at 30, call it 37. Tesla, you're at 40, we'll call it 40%. The Alphabet Twins, 45. Meta, we'll call it 49%. So those same eight stocks, you own the Qs and the S&P. 8 stocks make up 49%, call it 50% of your Q position and 36% of your S&P position. We would call that Texas hedged. So what do? Listen, I love tech. If you want that tech exposure, own the triple Q. For 2025, I want to introduce you to an ETF called RSP. So RSP owns the exact same stocks as the S&P 500, but it is equal weighted. So how does that work? That means that every quarter they rebalance the portfolio. So it's got they own the 13 sector ETFs within the S&P. And those are going to be XLK, XLY, XLI, XLC, XLV, XLE, and so on. Within those ETFs, they're still cap weighted, but those ETFs are equal weighted. And then every quarter they're rebalancing. So at the end of 2024, what was RSP doing? They were selling big tech and buying into all the underperformers. What was the big underperformer for 2024? Energy. So what's having a nice day on Tuesday? Energy's up 1.6%. So take a look. The S&P is down 0.7%. The NASDAQ 100 is down 1.4%. The Dow is basically flat. The RSP, which owns the exact same stocks as the S&P 500, is up 0.1%. So the way I'm constructing my portfolio for 2025 is to own the triple Q for my tech exposure, that alpha, and then for my broad market exposure, I'm getting out of cap weight and I'm looking at either RSP, and if you don't want to pay, RSP is a little expensive on the expense ratio. If you don't want to do that, your alternative would be something like the diamonds. Which, believe it or not, take a look, are actually better diversified than the SPY or the triple Q. Look at its top holdings. Goldman, United Health, Microsoft, Home Depot, Caterpillar, Sherwin-Williams, CRM. That's actually a real snapshot of the whole U.S. economy. So that's how I'm approaching things for 2025. And there you have it, folks. Speaking of which, this Thursday, I will be live to talk about a couple of very important events happening over the next couple of weeks. You want to make sure to join me. The link is in this email to register. You can, if you're watching me on YouTube, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and if you've got a question or a comment, leave below and I'll make sure to get to it. All right, everybody. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. Have a good one.